All right, welcome back to our Dominions 5 Let's Play Poorly, what I'm calling my derptorial. So here we are again in our territory. This is the whole map, and as I mentioned last time, it is a scrolling east to west wraparound map. This is my home territory here. I can right-click on these various other provinces. I don't know anything about them right now except the stuff that's in my dominion. This has one candle. It doesn't have any scales at the moment. Don't know what supplies it could supply because, well, it's underwater, so what the fuck? I don't know. It's got a population, apparently, even though it's under the water. I guess they live down there, fish people. I don't know. I get an income from all of these territories here that I have command of. Now, the Dominion doesn't. Dominion is just influence, but once I take a territory and change the flag to mine, then I will get income and so on. The goal of the game is to take the thrones, and there's a few of them out there. I should have probably shown you before, I apologize, but I think I need to get 3 thrones in this game. This is what a throne looks like. It's a throne of ascension. I need to grab those thrones. You need to go into that sector and take over the throne. And there's one here, there's one there, there's one there. That might be it, actually. It might be just those 3. Yeah, because there's only 10. I have it set, I think, 15 territories per player, and there's 2 players. So it's a relatively small map. We'll see how this goes. I may regret that. So, with my provinces selected, you'll see who is in your province. I've got 3 guys. I've got Hilderic, I've got Regine, and I've got Clodomir. Hilderic, if I right-click, this is my guy. He's a commander of Ulm. Look at him. He's got a hammer. He's got a half helm, full chain, and tower shield. He's got some hit points. He's got some strength. He's got all this other stuff here. He's got a map move. Map move together with his army is 8, but his regular map move is 10. If he has an army, he's a little bit slower. His combat speed and so on. All of these things, again, you'll figure it out over time. I haven't figured it out yet, really. I kind of know vaguely what I need to look at, but I don't worry about it too much. I just enjoy the game. Regine is my god. Because he's a guy who can walk around, he's not a fucking tree, he can move around the map. So he has a map move of 12, and he can do stuff. Notice here, you can see that he's got a whole bunch of magic levels because I gave him those magic levels. I gave him 5 in fire and 5 in earth. He's got a 24 research ability. He is blessed. And he's got these things: Fire Resistant, Pretender God, Mountain Survival, Dark Vision, Reinvigoration, and Master Smith. Alright, so I'm going to be right back. I have to open my window because I'm in Seattle, and for some reason it's decided to be really hot today. I'll be right back. Alright, let's figure this out. Feeling better already. My window is open. I apologize in advance if you hear weird things coming in through the microphone. And I'm not going to do that. I don't want to melt. Okay. Let's take a look at this province here. Up along the top, we can see, well, not just the province. This is about us overall. We are Regine, the god of Ulm. It is spring in the year 0 of the Ascension Wars. It's turn 1. You can see there down at the bottom. We have 400 gold in the treasury. Our income is 422. And then we have a 19 in upkeep for various things. We have 5 earth gems, and we get 5 per month. Gems are used to do a variety of magical things. They are consumables, basically. And you basically get them by finding sites around your map that provide them, and a variety of other ways. There's some events that can sometimes do it, and so on. Over here, this is Ulm. This is this home province. Population, income, the defense level, supplies, resources, unrest level, supply usage, and recruitment points, basically. This is the number of points it has and the number of commander points it has. So the total supply here is how many supplies this province supplies to any armies. Right now, these 3 guys who are in this province are only using 18. So you just have to be aware. You don't have to worry about supply lines. I don't think really anything in that way. Like, it doesn't, that in and of itself doesn't matter. What matters is whether or not there's too much pressure from your armies in a particular province to kind of overrun the supply level, which can happen if you're not careful. And I already talked about these various scales and the Dominion level. One thing I should say is, when in doubt, left click and right click. If you don't know what you can do, try pushing things. The other thing you can do, which is also very, very helpful overall, but also good to understand what you can do in the game on any given screen, hit the question mark. Here are your shortcuts. If it's got a shortcut, it means it's a thing you can do. And if you don't know what you can do, check your list of shortcuts. So this is a whole pile of crap that you can do in this game just from the map screen. Like, you can do blood sacrifices. Where is that? Right there, if you want to, with the capital K. So this is essentially shift and then the letter, because these other ones up here are just the letter itself. So all of these things are available. So just be aware you can look at this list of hotkeys if you kind of want to get a sense of what you can do. But we're not going to do that right now because there's way too many of them. We're going to do this piece by piece. So if I right-click on a guy, on a commander, I will see his stats. If I left-click on a commander, I will select him. And I can control-click, or I can... And then if you control-click one, if you do that, anytime you click and unclick, it will pick your the pattern you had, right? Or I can shift... I don't want to do it right. If I can shift-click to do that... do all. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things. Like, so you can pick these guys and have them move, or you can pick these guys and have them move, and so on. And then it will always hold on to them as you go. So I can do that. There we go. The other thing I can do is I can pick his job, his command right now. So right now these guys are all set to defend. Oh, and I should mention this little sword here means that he's commanding an army. But I can set his action to be different things. If I left click on when it says defend, I can have him defend, patrol a province, move to another province, pillage the current province. I can make him become a prophet. He spreads dominion. So remember, one of the things that you want to do is spread your dominion, your influence around the world. You can have a guy become a prophet, and it says at the bottom, a prophet will spread dominion like his pretender god, but at a slower rate. So you probably want to have at least one, well, not at least, so you can only have one, I think. Have one of your guys be your prophet. You can do magic, like the blood hunt. You can capture young girls with the special blood required for blood magic. That's... But anyway, you can do it. Or you can empower him. Certain commanders can be empowered by using large quantities of magic gems. A commander can learn a new magic path or become better in one he already knows. So I'll show you that down in a little bit. Or you can do construction, demolishing or building forts, labs, temples, and so on. And depending on what commander you have selected, you can do different things. Regine, as you can see here, a bunch of other options. He can research new spells. He can cast ritual spells, forge magic items. He can do alchemy. He can search for magic sites, which he'll be able to do once he gets to other provinces, or do any of the other things the other guy could do. Clodimir can become a prophet, and he has the same set of options as Hilderic. Hilderic is cute, so I'm going to make him my prophet. There we go. So he's going to be my prophet now. So that's what he's going to do for this turn. Regine, on the other hand, for right now, I'm going to have him set to research. I'll explain that in a minute. And Clodimir, just to mention, if you defend, he'll just sit there and defend. It's treated as a non-action. So if you have your game set to warn you, if no one's been given if a commander hasn't been given an action, that will happen if you have it on defend. You can have him patrol the province, which reduces unrest, but we're in our main province, so we don't have to worry about that, really. Pillaging and doing all these other things are doable as well. So he's going to be set to defend at the moment. One other thing I should mention is this defense level here. You can spend money to improve the defense level in a particular province, so that if bad guys come and attack you, these guys will show up and help out to defend your province. And you can increase or decrease. Well, you can't decrease below 25 for this one. But you can go up, and then we can go back down here. It reduces unrest at a certain rate. It's basically 1 per 10. So I go to 30, it'll be 3 per month. And then the patrol strength. Basically, defense values of 15 or more will make the province defense try to find and attack enemy scouts and spies. And above that, it just has a patrol strength. So we're going to just leave this at 25. No, actually, we're not. We're going to put it to 30. Just so we have that patrol strength there. And unrest 3 per month. We don't really need it here for now, but that's fine. Okay, now let's take a look at the right side over here. We've got options, which is saving and all that jazz. Map filters, which will turn on various features here. If I do all of them, it shows us these little boxes and so on that can give us information. So I'm going to turn off the candles, income, and leave on the names. There we go. So now we've got all the names of all the provinces, because that's cool. Statistics, you can see statistics as you go. You can read the messages from the beginning of each turn. We've seen these before. In the beginning there was chaos. Now the wheel has turned once again. You can send messages if you're in a multiplayer game. I'm going to skip here and come down to here and see this is what's in this province. If I select other provinces, different things show up here. So, fortification. You can see there's a hotkey. F gives me the fort statistics. Or you can see here, F, fort info. Aha, hotkeys. If I click, it gives me the information about my citadel here in this home territory. My laboratory, I have a laboratory here, which means you can do various things like put on magic items if you have a commander in that province. It's got a temple, and you can see my dominion statistics. I've got 1 temple. I've converted 2 provinces. I have a dominion strength of 3. Chance of successful dominion spread is 65% each month, and so on. Current bless effects, morale, reinvigoration, strength, and the death explosion, which we set up before. I've got the Keep of Ulm, which is a magic site, and if you click on a magic site, it tells you what this site gives you. It enables the recruitment of these kinds of guys. The Forges of Ulm give me 5 earth gems per turn, as we see up there. Next up, let's go to the middle. Research. Now, see, I had this guy Regine set to research. So I click on the research thing, and these are the magic schools. These are basically schools of magic that give me new spells and abilities as I increase. So because I'm with Ulm, I really want construction. I want to be able to do some funky shit with construction. Now, if I right-click, it'll tell me what the various levels do. Level 0 means I can make magic trinkets. Great, that's helpful. Level 1 means I can make corpse men. Right-click. Again, right-click gives you information most of the time. A stream of lightning is channeled into a body composed of several... Oh god, it's Frankenstein. Basically makes Frankenstein's monster. The corpse is mindless and obeys its creator as best it can. A mage equipped with a lightning rod can reawaken additional corpses. Good to know. Can't be cast underwater, though. Oh, that's too bad. Okay. Level 2 makes it so you can do lesser magic items. Level 3 gives you these options, clockwork soldiers, and so on. And you can see over here on the left, this is the number of... the level of the mage of that particular type that is required to cast the spell. So in order to cast Legions of Steel, I need to be working with a level 3 Earth Mage. And so on down the line. Over here, this is the number of gems of a particular type that will be consumed in order to do that spell. So for example, to make Clockwork Soldiers, it will take 5 earth gems to cast. Pretty straightforward. So I want to get to construction level 1, so I can do... That's conjuration, that's not what I want. I'm going to get back to this. So I can do the corpse men. I can make some Frankensteinian crap. Well, actually won't really work because I don't have any air gems yet. I'll need to find some. What I really want is level 3. And what I really, really want... Well, obviously it's level 9, but you kind of really want at least level 4, I think, to get these greater magic items, because that's when it gets into the really cool shit for magic items. So we're gonna aim for that. So like I said, you click here on the left, you left click to add to the queue. I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. But I'm not insane, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do level 1 for right now. Looking here, I'm already a level 1 in Conjuration. I can do these kinds of things. But honestly, because I've got I'm Earth and Fire guys, I don't have Death, Nature, and all that jazz. I can summon Cave Grubs, and it's going to take 6 Earth Gems. Conjuration is not where I want to be, because it really doesn't do me very much. I can do Earth and Fire for the most part. Now, I could obviously improve my guys to do the other ones, but nah. I think Conjuration is not my path. Alteration. I could do a few things here in Earth, not much in Fire. I can distill gold. It's basically converting fire gems to gold. Level 2 gives me a couple more spells, so maybe Alteration. Evocation gives me a little bit of fire, not much else. We looked at construction, now enchantment, also kind of bleh for these guys. Thaumaturgy, it gives me some Far Strike. It needs both Earth and Astral, though. Bonds of Fire with Fire, Rage and Augury, and so on. Blood Magic, it's basically you need blood. You need lots and lots of blood. So, for right now, we're just going to stick to getting a couple of levels of construction. Maybe let's try to get level 3. And then, what did I say? Maybe level 1 of Alteration. We get get these things. We don't really need the Distill Gold, probably. But Fists of Iron, Earth Grip, and Earth Might are pretty cool. Fists of Iron enchants your hands and turns you into pistons. Basically, pow, pow, pow. Very cool. Earth Grip swallows up a single target. Makes them... It's basically an effect that... it's a tangle. Makes them not move. Earth Might gives a small number of units increased strength. So that could be useful. So let's do 1 level of Alteration. And this will just happen in sequence as your research goes. And it basically fills up your research points until it hits the end, and then it gives you the level. As you can see with this guy, if I right-click on him, he's a level 24 in research ability, which means that he gives 24 points to research every turn that he's doing research. It's very simple, very straightforward. It's not difficult. Trust me, you can figure this out. Like I said last time, a cow can do it. Global enchantments, we don't have any running. Magic Resource Treasury, we have Earth Gems and we get 5 per turn. Now you can give, you can transfer gems to commanders because certain spells that they can cast on the battlefield will use gems, and so you can kind of hand them off to these guys, and you can pick which guy. You left click to pick a commander that you want, and you can just kind of like hop them over. They are in the lab, and you can kind of pop them over to there, or you can reverse that and pull all of the gems on. That are in the hands of commanders who are at a lab back into the general pool. So you can go back and forth. It just depends on what you need. Magic Item Treasury. We got no magic items because we haven't made any yet. But when we do, they'll show up here. And as with the gems, you can transfer magic items to commanders who are in a province with a lab. Labs are kind of like teleporters for items, basically. Then finally down in here, we've got army setup, mercenaries, and recruit units. I'm going to go in order of complexity, lowest to highest. Mercenaries first. We can pick up bowmen. We can bid on them and get them on our side. But you have to bid for them. Now we can also recruit units. Now, as we saw, these are the kinds of commanders that we can pick. And these are the kinds of units that we can pick. Now, I just realized that my sound is still pretty loud. So I'm going to... At least it is in my ears. Hopefully it's not too loud for you. But I'm just going to take it down just a smidge. Back to here we go. Okay, recruit units. These are the various commanders. And again, you can always right-click to learn about them. This guy's got a horse, and he does these things. He's got a lance, a morning star, and hooves. Well, he doesn't, but his horse does. And he's got a helmet, plate, and shield. Age matters. Like, as they get older, they get weaker. Their leadership levels here. Leadership here means that they can control. They can lead 80 regular units. Magical leadership. This is the number of magical units they can lead, and this is the number of undead units they can lead. So he can only lead regular guys. He can't lead magical stuff, magical beings. And if you right-click, again, you get information about what all that crap means. Down here in the units, these are your grunts. These are the guys who do most of the fighting for you. And again, you got war dogs, you've got crossbowmen, and a bunch of other things. These guys with the flails, you've got pikemen, you've got guys on horses, and so on. And they cost various things. So the commanders cost, as you can see, gold, resources, and commander points. Gold, resources, commander points. Some of them will cost holy points, and so on. Down here, you've got units that cost gold, resources, and recruitment points. Gold, resources, and recruitment points. One thing I learned by watching some tutorials is that it is a good rule of thumb to think about gold as the experience level and the skill level of the unit, and the resources as being the level of its kit, basically how awesome its weapons and armor are. I think I got that from Das Tactic. That's, I think, a useful way of thinking about it. If you're just kind of eyeballing it and you're just kind of going through this in a hurry, or you don't really know anything about the stuff yet, it's a good way to think about it. Gold is the level of skill of the unit, and resources is what kind of shit it's carrying. War dogs are 7 and 7 because they are literally dogs. The crossbowman is 10 and 28. He's kind of okay. He's got middling resource levels, so he's all right. He's got some good armor. But he's 10 and 28. This guy is 10 and 41 because he's got a flail and he's got much more armor. But his level of skill is about the same. And so on. So we can recruit. And the way you do it is you left click. So if I want to get some crossbowmen, left click, up. Now I can keep going until the cows come home. The cows who were learning how to play this game. But what you can see here is that after a certain point, they start to fade out. And this means I can't buy them this turn, but next turn they'll be on the queue and they will potentially be purchasable. As you can see, it's because my resource levels have gone down. Whoops. Let me reset here. So if I'm picking the crossbowman, you can see down, down, gold, resources, and recruitment points are dropping, boom. Now it's negative. I can't get this guy yet. But next turn, some number of points, it looks like 8 resources will have already been spent on this guy. So he'll only need 20 to fill out. Commander points are the same. This one takes 1 commander point. If I go past that, well, it won't let me go past that. But if I go, let's say if I got one that takes 2, and I do him twice. Oh, it doesn't let you do that in this, I guess. I thought for some reason that you could overextend commander points, but I guess you can't. That's fine. It doesn't generally come up. So, oh, there we go. I could do it for him for some reason. Oh no, I can't. Never mind. I don't know. What is going on here? Okay, 1 commander, 1, 2. Oh, that's what it is. Shit, I forgot. There's a maximum number of commanders that you can recruit overall at one time. I think it depends on something, but again, I don't know. For right now, it's 2, and maybe it has to do with some stat. Wish I knew. Wish I could tell you. Don't know the answer. Maybe we'll figure it out at some point. Anyway, army setup is the last thing to look at here. Hilderic, this guy with the sword, means that he has armies with him. He can have 3 groups. He's got 2 right now. And he can have a total of 80 guys. As we saw when we're looking at Hilderic, his leadership is 80. That means he can handle a total of 80 guys. The army setup for this province, remember, it's based on where you're clicking right now. So army setup. Hilderic has guys. He's got these, what are they? Infantry of Ulm and Pikeneers from Ulm. If I want to, I can click, or I can double click to select all the same type, and I can move them over by clicking on the commander to another area. This commander cannot lead any units. Oh, why is that? Clodomir has no leadership. He can't do anything with those guys. So I can't use these guys in his army. No problem. Let's put him back over here. So this is also one of those things like, oh, this is very daunting. Well, it's not so bad. Here's what we got to do. This green box, these green boxes indicate the starting positions on the battlefield. If I click here, which is associated with these guys with these axes, this gives me the squad, and I can move the squad around on the battlefield. This is the rear here on the left, and this is the front here on the right. And depending on the skill of the commander, you can do box formation, line, sparse line, double line, or skirmish. And you can read here on the bottom, line formations can only be used by good leaders capable of leading at least 3 squads. The troops will deploy in a long line and try to stay in that formation when advancing. Sparse lines, like a line formation, but the line will be longer as the troops deploy more sparsely. Sparse line formations have a -1 penalty to squad morale. Double line is 2 lines. Skirmish is a loosely packed square versus box formation, which is a little bit tighter. Undisciplined troops, like the war dogs, who can't be put into any particular formation, will always pick skirmish because they're just gonna fucking go wherever the fuck they want. So these guys, let's put them into a line formation because we can. Now the Pikeneers, we should probably also stick them in a line formation, but we'll put them in a sparse line because they got nasty pointy sticks. And we're going to put them maybe behind these guys. I don't know. Is that the right spot to put them? I don't know. I just play the game. Figure it out. So you can see here, the white line is referring to the squad that is here, right? So this line is for this squad, this line is for this squad, and then over in this green box is your commander, and that's this little guy here. Whee! Where does he want to be? I don't know where he wants to be. He looks like he's a tough dude. I'll put him up here behind his guys. This commander, this guy, little dwarf guy, I'm going to stick him back here. And Clodomir is going to go over here. Now, if they're not obviously in the same province, they won't show up in the battle. And other people might show up if you move other guys in, and you might need to rearrange them based on what you want. And it just really depends on how micromanaging you want to be. It's up to you. Let's see here. Oh, give me a second while I check my time. We're coming up on 30 minutes, so I do want to end this video pretty soon. But one last thing we should look at here are the battle orders. So each commander and each squad can have its own battle orders. So let's look at this squad's battle orders here. They can do these things on the left to these things on the right. They can do none, which is basically the commander will decide what the best course of action is. They can attack, or they can hold an attack, which means they hold still for 2 turns and then advance. They can fire their missile weapons, or hold and fire their missile weapons, or fire their missile weapons and then withdraw to a safe distance and continue to fire. Basically, they'll do a firing retreats. They'll kite, essentially. They will keep away from their enemy that they're shooting at. Or they can retreat and get the fuck out. Some units can guard their commanders, and then that option becomes available, and they just kind of cluster around the commander and defend him. So with these guys, I'm not going to have them retreat. That would be stupid. These guys are little axey dudes, right? They've got a battle axe. So what they're going to do is they're just going to straight up attack. And who are they going to attack? Anybody who they want. It says one random enemy unit and his squad is targeted. Enemy archers, enemy cavalry, enemy flyers, large enemy monsters, closest enemy, or rearmost enemies. So for this guy, I think I want them to target the closest enemy. Because they're just going to go whacking at whatever they can get to, right? Now these pikeneers, I'm going to have them hold an attack. I want them to keep in the line for a little minute while the squad in front rushes ahead. The pikeneers are going to hold and then attack, and I'm going to have them go after the enemy cavalry because they've got pikes. Why not? Now, of course, if there are no cavalry, they'll just go after something else. Now I can set the battle orders for Hilderic. This guy doesn't have any magic abilities, so he can hold one turn and then attack, or I can have him. These single round orders. You get a bunch of orders up front that you start with at the beginning of the round, at the beginning of the combat. I can have him hold, or I can have him attack. And then after he has gone through that list, he will then follow up with this main order and target. Same thing. Order on the left, target on the right. I can have him stay behind the troops, or attack, or retreat, or just kind of figure it out. I'll probably set him to attack, just because he is a guy with an axe. He's got like a flail or whatever he is. You know, he's a fighter, beefy dude. And I'm going to have him go after the closest enemy. I don't know if these are the right decisions, right? That's not what I'm trying to teach here. I'm trying to just sort of teach how to use it, not telling you what to do. You can probably come up with better answers than I can. Regine here, because he's a mage, he can do some extra shit. So he can hold or cast a spell. He will hold his position and cast if he can, or just cast a spell, or hold or attack. So I'm going to have him cast a spell. Now, as we saw, we've got evocation at level 0, enchantment at level 1. These are the things that he can do. As we saw here in research, evocation, and so on, conjuration, it's just stuff coming from this list. So we're going to go back to the army setup. He can do fireflies or flying shards or protection from fire. These are the only spells available based on what we have in our currently researched list of magic abilities. These 2 spells for evocation and this 1 spell for enchantment. And the only ones that will show up here are the ones that he is capable of doing, which would be the fire and the earth ones. So we can do fireflies. What do you do when you want to know what to do? Right click. This is the stats for the spell. It's got a range, casting time, area of effect, basic D&D style shit, right? And it tells you what it gives you. It's 6 burning sparks shoot forth from the wizard hand. Flying shards is hurling several stones toward the enemy units. It's a similar kind of thing to the fireflies, but it's an earth version. And then protection from fire. He protects himself from fire and flames and negates heat effects from fiery creatures. So what do I want to do? I'm going to have his single round orders start by casting a protection from fire, which if I know I'm not up against a fire enemy, I'll probably take that out, but this is just for the purposes of explanation. And then I'm going to have him blast out some fireflies, blast out some flying shards. You can do up to 5 initial battle orders, and then your main order. And his main order is going to be advancing and casting spells. So he wants to be close to the front and fire off some spells. I can do cast spells and kind of keeps him where he is. I can have him attack if he wants, but we're just going to do that. Conservative magic gem usage comes into play if any of the spells that you have that he has available to him would normally take gems, which you would see right here. But we don't have them doing that, so he doesn't have any spells that can do that. So if you do conservative magic item usage, then it says here, when this option is set, no unscripted spells costing gems will be cast. So meaning nothing in the main order and target spells that he casts will be ones that require gems. He will also use fewer or no gems in order to reduce fatigue from spells on the ones that he could cast up here if they use gems. Okay, so while that's army setup, this guy has some battle. He's going to attack. I'm going to have him stay behind his troops. And we are done. Well, this guy isn't going to do any of that. Actually, I'm going to have him retreat because he is he's a spy. And we know he's a spy because we can have him hide. And we will have him hide because we want him to go out here and just kind of sneak around and learn things. But we are well past our 30-minute mark, and that is our big introduction to the map and to what you can do on the map. And when we come back, we're actually going to start doing stuff. Thanks for watching. See you next time.